Good morning, everyone. Let's get cracking with 268 to 2978. And we'll go through this as quickly as we can. Tempus erat. It was the hour, quo, at which prima quies, the first rest, begins for weak mortalibus agris, for weak mortals, and sweeps over most welcome by the gift of the gods. More gifts that we've got here in Somnis. Again, just a quick reminder, in the intervening lines, Laocoon, the priest of Neptune, has been killed along with his two boys by the sea serpents, and Sinon has told this great lie about Ulysses and Palamedes and has convinced the Trojans to bring the horse in. And immediately prior to this, which is always a good question, the Greeks have just jumped out of the horse, including, for instance, Menelaus, Ulysses, and Neoptolemus. Okay, in Somnis, in my dreams, look, there before my eyes seems to stand the most wretched Hector, and he was pouring out floods of tears, effundere, raptatus, we then wanted to say, torn by the chariot, as once before, aterque, and black with bloody dust, and his swollen feet, pedes tumentis, had been pierced through with the reins. Swollen with the thongs. Pitiful me, mihi, pitiful me, qualis erat, what a sight he was, I suppose we could say there. Qualis, I suppose that's right, of what sort of man he was, what a sight he was. Quantum, how changed from that Hector who returned, how different, how changed he was from that Hector who returns after putting on the spoils of Achilles. This is obviously here a reference to him having defeated Patroclus, putting on the weapons of Achilles. I suppose that there's the regret, the pathos, the sadness, and again the pain that was caused by that. This is here reference, the allusion to the story of Patroclus. How changed he was from that Hector who returns, having put on the arms of Achilles, well Danaeum, or hurling on the Greek ships, or Iaculatus, or having hurled on the ships of the Greeks the flames. Again, we've actually got the pupis, so we've got the synecdoche there, or hurling on the Danaan ships, the Trojan, rather, the Phrygios ignis, the Trojan flames. No, just the juxtaposition of the Danaeum and the Phrygios there. So Iaculatus having hurled the Phrygios ignis, the Trojan flames on the ships of the Greeks. Squalentem, and now we've got this, so I guess the contrast of Trojan, Greek, old, new Hector, with his matted beard, Squalentem, his matted beard, and his hair, or ragged beard, his hair matted with blood. So his squalid beard and his crinis and his hair, concretos, matted with blood, carrying those wounds, which, and again we talked about these wounds, these are the wounds that he got from being dragged around the city, not the wounds that he got from heroic wounds which he got from warfare, which he, quae circum plumara, which he received from those very many wounds, plurima, wounds, which he received around circum, the walls of his fatherland, his muros patrios, his native lands, ultro flens. I dreamed, I seemed, literally videbar, I seemed myself weeping. I seemed weeping myself, hailing him first, ultro compellare, to hail the man first, and to expromere, and to utter these sad maestas, these pitiful voces words. O light of the Trojan land, of Troy, spes, O light of the Trojans, surest hope of the Trojans. Again, interesting ideas and ideals of hope. O most faithful hope of the Trojans, quae tanta tenuere morai. What long delay has held you? Of course, as we said before, he actually already knows. But again, we have, as Peter Jones says, the psychology of the dream there. What great delay has held you? Quibus Hector ab odis expectate. What long delay has held you? From what shores, Hector, so long waited for? Quibus ab odis, from which shores, Hector expectate, long waited for, vocative there, do you come? How gladly, Ut, after the multa funera, after the many deaths of your people, after the sadness, after the great sadness of citizens and of our city, so post after the various sufferings of people and of the city, do we look upon you exhausted, defesi? Do we exhausted, aspicimus, gaze upon you? Quae causa, what shameful cause, quae causa indigna, what undignified, shameful cause foedavit, what shameful cause has marred that handsome face, that serene expression, serenos vultus, out, or why do I cerno, rhetorical questions I suppose here, why do I see these wounds? Or again, he knows why these are happening, but again, I suppose it's the dream, in a nihil, like a fever dream, maybe you could say, nihil. He does not answer, nor does he, so ille nihil he, I like this, he replies nothing, nor does he answer my empty questioning, my idle questioning, but gemitus, but drawing his groans heavily from the depth of his chest, he says, Heu fuge, flee, goddess born. It's quite exciting. Flee, goddess born, quite Gandalf-like. Fly, you fools. Anyway, flee, nate dea, son of the goddess. Again, what does that refer to? It refers to Venus. Take away his. Flee, goddess born, he cries, and escape from these flames. Eripe, grab yourself, take yourself away from these flames. Hostis, the enemy has the walls. Ruit auto aculmine Troia. The enemy holds the walls. Troy has fallen from her lofty height. Troia ruit. Notice the emphatic position. Troy has fallen from her lofty height. Sat patriae priamo que datum. That here, what has been given, enough has been given now to the fatherland and to Priam. This is actually a financial term, which I didn't know until I read a commentary on this. Let there be enough given to the father. So it's actually, Troy is over now, we've got to start afresh to the fatherland and to Priam. See, Pergama, if the towers of Troy could be saved by the strength of man's right hand, see Pergama, if the towers of Pergama, if the Trojan towers were able to be saved, defendi, conditional here, by a right hand, by a man's hand, dextra, they would also have been defended by this one, the idea of the two of them together, of Hector especially, as well as Aeneas, sacra suosque, and now we've got this more religious part, sacra suosque. Troy entrusts to you her holy things and her household gods. Troia, so this is the story of Trojan religion. Troy now entrusts commendat to you her household gods, her sacred things and her household gods. Make sure that you are clear as to what those would be, please, everyone. Hos cape, take these as a companion of your fortunes. Take these as companions, as a share of your fortunes. His moenia quaere, seek for them the mighty city. Quaere, seek, his for these, the magna moenia, the great walls, the mighty city, which, when you have wandered over the deep, which, when you have pererato ponto, when you have wandered over the ocean, finally, you shall establish statues, which, when you have pererato, wandered over the ocean, you will finally denique statues establish. Thus he spoke, so he spoke, and in his hands he brought forth. This is really very much a passing on, isn't it, from the old to the new. And in his hands, manibus, he brings forth from the inner shrine, penetrabilis, the vitas vestamque potentem, the fillets, the great vesta, and the everlasting fire, and the aeternum ignem, notice the chiasmus there, surrounding it. and the everlasting fire. So thus he spoke, and in his hands he brought out the fillets and great powerful vesta, potentem vestamque, and the and from the inner shrine, the fillets and the Aditis penetrabilis, from the inner shrine fillets and the everlasting fire. The chiasmus finishing it all off. Very well done. I will see you all later on.